the moment the crystal trophy hit the stage, the celebration did not simply pause, it fractured. There was no scream, no dramatic gasp from the crowd, no music to soften the blow. Just a sharp, unmistakable sound that cut through the festive atmosphere like a sudden change in weather. For a split second, millions of viewers watching the Year End Gala felt the same thing. Confusion, tension, and the quiet certainty that something had gone very wrong. This was supposed to be a night of perfect timing, perfect smiles, and flawless celebration. Instead, it became a moment no one could rewind, no matter how much they wished they could. Only seconds earlier, the atmosphere had been warm and triumphant. Lights shimmered across the stage, applause still echoed in the hall, and the sense of closing one year while welcoming another filled the air. The gala had reached one of its most symbolic moments, where achievement, gratitude, and unity were meant to converge. On stage, everything appeared calm and controlled, rehearsed down to the smallest movement. And yet, in the blink of an eye, control slipped away. The trophy fell. The sound carried, and the mood shifted instantly from celebration to stunned silence. What followed was not chaos in the traditional sense, but something far more unsettling. Hesitation. The host froze, visibly shaken, as if searching for the right response but finding none. Live television does not allow for second chances, and the weight of that reality was suddenly impossible to hide. The pause stretched longer than expected. A nervous laugh surfaced, then faded. Cameras adjusted, unsure whether to stay or look away. The audience could feel it through their screens. The tension of a moment that had no script, no safe exit, and no clear solution. On stage, reactions unfolded before words could form. Shukai moved almost instinctively, kneeling down to gather the shattered pieces, as though the damage might somehow be undone if he acted quickly enough. His movements were urgent, unfiltered, and undeniably human. Tan Song-yoon, meanwhile, remained still. Her posture did not suggest anger or accusation, but rather a quiet shock, the kind that arrives when something precious is lost without warning. For a brief moment, the entire hall seemed to hold its breath alongside her. The host's composure, long admired for its steadiness, faltered. Years of experience could not fully prepare anyone for a moment like this. An unscheduled break followed, rare for an event so tightly planned, and that decision alone spoke volumes. Viewers understood immediately that what they had just seen was not meant to happen. The broadcast moved on, but the moment itself refused to be left behind. Within minutes, the internet began doing what it does best, replaying, analysing, and questioning. Clips circulated at remarkable speed, slowed down frame by frame, examined from every possible angle. Some focused on timing, others on body language, and many on the host's reaction. Opinions formed quickly, then multiplied. To some, it was a simple accident, magnified by the pressure of live television. To others, it was a symbol of how thin the line can be between perfection and vulnerability in the entertainment world. And for many, it was both at once. What made this moment resonate so deeply was not the object that broke, but what it represented. Awards are not just physical items, they are acknowledgements of years of effort, long nights, personal sacrifice, and public scrutiny. Seeing one shatter on stage felt, to many viewers, like witnessing the fragility of success itself. It reminded audiences that even in environments designed to appear flawless, unpredictability is always present. There was also something profoundly relatable in the reactions that followed. No dramatic confrontation, no raised voices, no visible blame. Just people responding in real time to an unexpected situation. That authenticity rare in such a polished setting, struck a chord. It transformed a brief incident into a shared, emotional experience, one that viewers across cultures could understand without translation. As the days passed, discussions continued to evolve. Some fans spoke about empathy and understanding, emphasizing the immense pressure performers face during major live events. Others shifted attention toward production choices, questioning whether more safeguards could have been in place. Gradually, the conversation moved beyond the incident itself and toward a broader reflection on how perfection is presented and how rarely it truly exists. In the end, the gala did not lose its significance because of that moment. If anything, it gained a new layer of meaning. It became a reminder that behind every polished broadcast are real people, navigating expectations, emotions, and unforeseen challenges. The broken trophy did not define the night, but it changed how the night would be remembered. Moments like this linger because they feel honest. They reveal something unscripted in an industry built on precision. They invite viewers not just to watch, but to reflect, to empathize, and to recognize themselves in the hesitation, the silence, and the recovery that followed. And perhaps that is why this story continues to be shared. Not because something went wrong, but because something real briefly surfaced in a place where reality is usually carefully hidden. If you found this story meaningful and want to explore more behind-the-scenes moments that reveal the human side of the entertainment world, thank you for spending your time with LVT-SHOWBIZ. Your support allows this channel to keep telling stories that go beyond headlines and surface-level drama. Don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and stay with us as we continue uncovering the moments that remind us why these stories matter.